Hey, let's have a look at this. And we've borrowed heavily from the Midas Network and Ben Mycelis, because he did a whole bunch of looking around through Trump stuff. In fact, I won't even make them full screen because I'm going to zip through this quite quickly as to what happened. First of all, I was sitting in my studio. I looked up to my right, and there's a 50-inch screen just here, about 45 centimeters past my hand, and I saw on it on the Twitter feed Elon Musk with a thing saying, in 45 minutes I will be talking to Donald Trump. And I went, I'm going to screen record because I bet you it'll break down.
So good.
And I didn't screen record, Chewy, but guess what happened? It broke down. It didn't work. And Elon Musk came out saying, oh, you know, it was an attack, and people were trying to attack us, and it all felt like all bollocks. It didn't work because, as many people were pointing out, the rest of Twitter was working just fine. So anyway, I'm going to play you some clips, and look, I mean, often we just go and get these clips ourselves, but it was over 3 hours, I think, the conversation, or over 2 hours or something like that. So Ben's gone through and got a few clips that I'm going to play. Kamala, see, I did it in my head. I went, Kamala. This is fucking Trump saying Kamala looks like my very excellent First Lady, Melania. They look the same.
This clip.
She's terrible, but she's getting a free ride. I saw a picture of her on Time Magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was a drawing, and actually, she looked very much like our great First Lady, Melania.
Has he not put his teeth in?
She didn't look like Camilla. That's right. But of course, she's a beautiful woman, so we'll leave it at that, right?
Now, there's a couple of things, Stewie. The word dentures started trending on Twitter. Trump was slurring, and he was speaking like Sylvester the King, suckering, succotash, and he was slurring his words. He was doing something with it, like Kathy is saying. It sounds like he didn't have his teeth in. That could be the case, or it could be like one of my daughters has a plate that they wear at night time because they had braces and they got to keep wearing it at night. But I would think if you had that in, you'd only a moron would leave that in. You'd take it out. But something was happening, and his S's were a bit slurred and a bit frantic. So yeah. Anyway, the next one, there's just an example. Ben here shows an example of that slurring.
Clip.
But that's okay. That's the way I get treated, and I don't mind that at all. What I can tell you is this. We cannot have a Democrat. We cannot have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden in a different... Look, she hasn't done an interview since this whole scam started. And say what you want. This was a coup.
He shouldn't say what you want, because all those S's don't come out quite so well. Not entirely sure what was going on with them, but yeah, there was. And as I said, when that was playing live on Twitter, hashtag dentures started to trend. So that's beautiful. Ben does a little bit of a wrap, sort of. This is about 45 seconds, and it's also looking at how some of the media was reporting what they were hearing as well. So this is Ben Mycelis from Midas Touch.
As Tim O'Brien writes, Trump is slurring his words and is unable to clearly enunciate S words in unusually messy ways during this Musk interview. He had trouble hearing at the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists Convention, and at his Mar-a-Lago presser. He has declined in age noticeably over the last year. Susan Simpson writes, Trump is slurring in a way I've never heard from him before. Elon sounds like this is maybe the third or fourth time he's had a conversation with a fellow human. Here, Donald Trump talks about one of his plans, which is one of the top priorities of Project 2025, to shut down the Department of Education. Let's play this clip.
And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk. I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education.
Here.
Now, Midas Touch cut away from that. I think that's a really important thing that we need to have a look at. So we went to Brian Tyler Cohen, because we're just using all the guys who've already done it. And he went and he used, so we're looking at Brian Tyler Cohen, who was looking at Real America's Voice. And we'll play this for you, because this is like 30 seconds of him talking about getting rid of the education, Department of Education, which is terrifying. To have like, what would Texas, what would some of those conservative southern states bring into their own education system if it wasn't a federal organization?
I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, not every state will do great, because states that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. He's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education.
There you go. And there's Brian. Hi, Brian. So it was a couple of hours. It was a complete nightmare. So thank you to those people who did the work for us, Midas Touch and Brian there as well, and the guys who were covering it. But that was it. So he claims to not know anything about Project 2025, but just by chance, Chewy, it's just a coincidence, Chewy, that some of his top things he wants to do are the things that that the Project 2025 wants. The slurring. They're calling it slurring. It's more about whether that's slurring or not, but it was very strange.
I think he was slurring as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't. God, what an embarrassment. But it does not matter. The MAGA cult will not be dissuaded. But what Trump is losing is he is hemorrhaging people that are going, no, I'm a Republican. I really should vote for the Republican candidate. But I don't feel good about it anymore.
Well, one of the things
one of
the things that the Dems have done really well is they're not trying to convince Republicans to come to become Democrats. They're running a group called Republicans for Kamala. So they're actually saying you can be a Republican, stay in your lane. That's fine. Be a Republican, but you can still vote for Kamala. So they've got might be a pact or whatever called Republicans for Kamala. So it's it's a very the Kamala Harris group are doing some very clever things. They're doing some very clever things in the social media world, activating Gen Z and millennials. And they're also, Tim Walz he is actually an incredibly exciting prospect. They are the most progressive. They're not the perfect progressive. Remember, when we do debate, sometimes we get people on we don't really like. They're not perfect, but they are the most progressive ticket there's ever been in American history. What they're doing today is they are testing what Bernie Sanders could have been in 2016. Like, he's more progressive than them, but we always tell you that when you just purely look at you poll the policies, those left policies are incredibly popular, and then no one ever brings them into a government, but they're popular. And if they're popular, this is the ticket that will finally, hopefully, get a chance to test some of those in the real world, Chewy.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, the sooner Trump just folds. He's got to. He's got to. He won't until way past when he should.
Don't you mean as soon as he folds? Isn't that what you mean?
Maybe he can open another casino.
See how many casinos he can go bankrupt in. The only man to ever start a business where the house always wins and lose. So, a couple more super chats and we might head off for the night. Mr. Arvids, they're not like us. Yeah, that was a very good statement out of the UK. I think this is, and you know what? I thought of this today, Chewy. This is fucking brilliant. Not that I thought of it, the idea. People on the left have tried Nazis. They've tried dictators. They've tried all these words, Nazis, your authoritarians. And what finally hit and what finally won? Weird. Calling them weird. All of the words that the left used to attack the right, all of those big, heavy, massive words never really landed. What landed? Man, they're weird. I'm just like, it's so good. It is so good.